Washington and Beijing are locked in an escalating trade showdown in recent weeks. It reached tipping point on the 2nd of this month when the U.S. slammed a 34% tariff on Chinese goods imported to the U.S. following earlier hikes from 10 to 20% in March. In a swift response, China retaliated with matching tariffs on U.S. goods. The Trump administration reacted heavily, imposing an additional 50% tax increase on Chinese exports to the U.S. market. This brought the total U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods to 104%. China responded with countermeasures, raising tariffs on U.S. goods from 34 to 84%, placing 12 U.S. business entities under export controls, and added 6 companies to what it tags as unreliable entity list. In a dramatic turn of events, President Trump on Wednesday announced an additional package of tariffs on Chinese goods, raising it to 125%, while announcing a 90-day pause on the tariffs it had earlier imposed on other countries. These developments are shaking financial markets in both countries and elsewhere, with each side defending its actions in what is increasingly showing characteristics of a trade war. In the Gambia, an explanation on China's position comes from its embassy in Banjul. Addressing the press is Chao Shangsen, chargé d'affaires at the Chinese embassy.
Let me be clear. China has not started this confrontation. We do not necessarily want to retaliate. We do not want trade or tariff wars. We Chinese are not troublemakers, but we will not flinch when trouble comes our way. Intimidation, threat, and blackmail are not the right way to engage with China. We will not let anyone take away the Chinese people's legitimate right to development. We will not tolerate any attempt to harm China's sovereignty, security, and development interests.
Chargé d'affaires Chao re-echoed Beijing's conviction that the U.S. tariffs are against international trade laws and principles and a breach of previous multilateral trade agreements.
The United States has imposed tariffs on all its trading partners, including China, under various pretexts. By taking such action, the United States defies the fundamental laws of economics and market principles, disregards the balanced outcomes achieved through multilateral trade negotiations, ignores the fact that the U.S. has long benefited substantially from international trade, and weaponizes tariffs to exert maximum pressure for self-interests.
China is the world's second largest economy and market for consumer goods. Chinese authorities have pledged to remain committed to opening up for trade to the wider world, no matter the changes to the international market.
Economic globalization is the only way to human progress. The world will not and should not return to mutual isolation or fragmentation. The international community aspires for win-win cooperation. Economic bullying that shifts risks onto others will ultimately backfire. Making economic globalization more open, inclusive, balanced, and beneficial to all is a shared responsibility of the international community.
The tit-for-tat tariff war between the world's two largest economies is escalating with no sign of abating. However, analysts see dialogue as the only way out the deadlock and the major face-off between Beijing and Washington. Momodou Lamin Choi, GRTS News.